My opponent in the second game is Paul Ivar Johansen, and he plays for Trondheim Chess Club, which is the chess club that I am also representing and that I used to play for in the 1980s. And he has a rating of 753. And the opening he's coming with now is the Karo Khan, which I know nothing about, so when he's putting his pawn on d5, I take it without getting into any complications. And right now I would like to move my pawn here to d4, but the game would then be identical with black in the move, giving him the initiative. Now I can't take this knight with my pawn yet, because then I lose a piece immediately. So I take his bishop first, forcing him to take my bishop with his queen, and then I take the knight. And I see that he wants to maybe push his d pawn forward, and I see that he might want to attack my c file, and my c2 pawn is a little vulnerable. And I want to place my bishop here now on d3, but if I do that immediately, then he will come here and pin my knight. And if I try to chase him away, he'll just move a little further back, but still keep the pin. So I prepare it first with the h3 move. And when I place my bishop here now, it's not an ideal position for it. It's protecting two pawns. It's almost like a pawn itself. And it's very static. It can't really be used to anything right now except protecting pawns. I want to try to exchange queens here on g5 with him if he wants to, but he immediately prevents me from doing so. And I want to push my f pawn up here to from f2 to f4. If he wants to dominate the c file, I want to be able to dominate the f file. Afterwards I thought a little more about it and decided that it might not be such a good move anyway, because if he makes an exchange here, later on, moving his f pawn up to f6, his knight here on e5 would be an harassment, both for my bishop and my ability to move my pieces around. So I decide to pass on it and just move my pawn further up here when he doesn't do the exchange. And my rook move here to f3 is actually more psychological. It's more for him to think that an attack is coming and not think so much about my c2 pawn and the c file, and it works. He moves one of his rooks back, and since he did that, I decide to go further with what could eventually become an attack. And right now I have the ability to use my queen here to take his h6 pawn, because he can't take back, because he then will be in check. All he needs to do to prevent this is just move his king here to h7, but he overlooks it and he places his bishop out on the side of the board instead. I take the pawn, and I move back again. I'm happy by gaining one pawn. It might become useful in a future endgame. And my knight here I really would want to have on c5, because it might be able to fork one of his rooks or the queen here, and it's a good position for it. But since he already overlooked the h6 pawn, I thought of going ahead and see if he might overlook me placing my knight there, as long as he doesn't take it with his bishop. To my disbelief here, he actually moves his pawn up to g5 and overlooks everything completely. And I check him and fork his king and queen here. And I get his queen for a knight. And now I move my bishop to e2 here, because he has nowhere he can move his bishop, and I just want to reduce the pieces. What he should do here is just take my bishop and I take it back. But instead of doing so, he wants to protect it with his king. I take his bishop, and what he should do now is just take my bishop. Right now he's not really in any safety with his king. He's moving away from his main pieces, and a better player than me would probably be able to take advantage of this situation. But what he does instead is he wants to exchange rooks, which I let him do. And instead of taking the c3 pawn, which he might think that I will do, I protect my bishop, and in just a few moves here I gain a whole bishop. And then I just move my bishop back here to be able to use my queen in a different role than protecting the bishop. The game is actually over now, but I still have to be very careful. He couldn't save that pawn anyway. I'm not sure why he's exchanging a piece here, since he already has fewer pieces than I do. And right now he can't protect his king with his rook because of my pawn here, and he would lose his rook, and he can't play for stalemate because he has all these pawns that can move. And I win my second game of the tournament.